All right. It's part 2 of our weekly test show. Well, the lecture went quicker than I had expected, but we're back. We're ready to kick off the second part here, and we're gonna get and we're gonna have some more fun with. Actually, I'll charge this. I'll charge this guy later. Let me reconnect this. There we go. All right. Now, this is what we were working with earlier. No, I'm actually going to change it up a little bit, because why not? So, which one do we want to do? Now, let's see what we can do with this.
No, it's called the overscore. Or overscore. Call it overscore. Alright, well that's something I'll keep in mind for when we do the simple again next time.
Alright, well that's one of them. I'll put the whole display up on screen so you can see. Alright, well that's one of them we're going to do. Here's another one. Yeah, sure. Sure. We'll do this one, which is the 1/4 fraction. And then what's this other one? Oh, this is when he did the masculine ordinal indicator.
Oh, hello, girl sign, okay? Oh my god.
Sure, that's good enough. Alright. Now, Tom and Ben, come on back. And let's also bring Ginger back up. She came back fast enough that the floor is actually starting right now, but since we have some other things to get taken care of here, we're gonna get those things taken care of first, and then we'll start the floor. And of course, the good thing about that is we can fast forward through all the commercial breaks and everything, and eventually we'll be caught up to live where it is. All right, so which one do we want to put these? What's this one? Oh, this is the macron. And I'm going to cut off the bits of silence just to make this more accurate. All right, let's do this.
Macron. 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 Macron.
Alright, it's time to switch out the clip. Which one's the 1/4 fraction? Is this it? Yep, this is it. Ooh, Metro Meat.
How about you one
How about the one horse fraction?
Okay, that's going to be a little loud and that's going to be a little annoying. So how about we do this one instead? So how about we do this one instead? Alright, you know what? As much fun as that recording is, how about this one?
Okay, swords
fulfilling my hunger.
You know what? Let's do this one. What do we have here?
Raigeki! Servant from the graveyard! Card! Direct the servant!
What else have you got?
Card! Raigeki!
Haven't heard that in a while. TV station.
Nah. You know what? Let's do this one.
Swords of fulfilling light.
Swords of the feeling light!
Swords of fulfilling light.
Swords of the feeling light!
Swords of fulfilling light.
Swords of the feeling light!
Wow, these all sound like great clips. Macron. There's 52 Macrons. Oh my gosh, I love that. Let me make sure I saved that clip before I close it. Did I? Did I?
Macron.
Yes, I did. Nice. I like that. Okay. And I see the Mendota Rocam is finally back. My oh my, we have been without it forever. We've been without it forever. I'm glad it's back, so. Oh yeah, and also I also found a channel that does short videos of unboxings of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So he just does unboxings of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Looking back, episode 7, Kids WB. What is this? Oh, that's the review of the cards that were featured in the show. We'll kind of do that for the eBay scavenger hunt here, which we will get to in a few minutes. But first things first, we're going to add another entry for the word game right over here. So the letters today, SAMINCUIS. Not a 4. I hope I got that right. And actually, I should keep the Discord window open if Brennan is up for it tonight. Yeah, I probably should have put all the marginal risk stuff in here, but I see Topeka did their test, Norman did theirs, Des Moines did theirs. I saw the evacuation order. I heard one of the evacuation orders. And then there was some in Ohio earlier. And that's about everything, I believe. Yeah, that's everything. All right, and I'll keep this on the side. Well, you all aren't seeing it, but okay. So let's see what kind of words we can make from the letters. But so nice to have the Mendota cam finally back. So now we get to see the Zephyr and the Chief again, even before they show up in Galesburg. So yeah, we had to do that for a little bit of time, but glad we got it taken care of now. Let's see, TFM got the Des Moines, what was it, the evening test, I suppose? And this compilation from BHV, this was from May 15th. May 15th. So this was from May 15th and 16th, respectively. And I see he was following along with the event in real time. It was a location icon that showed up. So he actually got the opportunity to get all this stuff.
How the hell do you butcher this so bad? Subverse? Are you kidding? Tornado warning!
Oh, this is May 16th, 2025. Oh, yes, I remember this event. Because I see the dust storm warning.
Tornado warning.
And a marine warning and another dust storm warning. Yeah, there were multiple dust storm warnings. And I see Landon got uploaded a larger compilation of every weekly MWR weekly from April. So Tampa went at 6:04 Eastern time. So in this case, it would be 5:04 p.m. Central. Okay, before we get any further here, let's see. How about let's see, music. Music. Yeah, musicians. That's actually the word. Let's see if it can. Yeah, that's actually the spelling. So I managed to figure out the word for the second week in a row. How about that? Let's see what else we got. Music nice. It's the second half of it spelled backwards. How about SAUAMSIN? Yeah. Well, you know what? I finally figured out the word, so that's all we're doing. So, okay, I figured out the word. Okay. Now, for the eBay scavenger hunt, before we go any further here, let's see. Where was that set I was looking at earlier? Ghost from the Past, that's in English. No. I think it was somewhere on page 2. Yeah, here's another one. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of, because when I was doing a little scavenger hunt of my own earlier, I found these cards that actually look like the cards, and in fact these actually are the exact cards that are featured in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime here in the United States. Well, of course, there was a reason why 4Kids Entertainment at the time changed out these cards. Well, it was because the FCC had rules on featuring real products inside of television programs, especially kids shows. So if the real cards were left unedited, then the program would have legally been considered an infomercial. So that it probably would have been placed in some sort of weird time slot, like what, 11 p.m. at night, or probably like what, 2 in the morning, which is when I see TV stations run some like half hour, hour long paid advertisements for these products that I see short commercials of during the day. Yeah, but and I think I remember seeing a video another time of trying to, yeah, the backs of these cards and the front, yeah, they look so different. There's no digital text or descriptions or anything like that. You just have to take a guess as to what the card is. And here's another example. Here's another set of them, but yeah, I can tell which ones are spell cards, which ones are trap cards, and which ones are, other cards. But I believe these are from the original Duel Monsters series. They're not from the other series that came after it. Yeah, they're not from the other Yu-Gi-Oh series that followed. of course, GX, 5Ds, Zexal, and Arc 5. Let me start that over. So, yeah, series that came after it: GX, Arc 5, Zexal, 5Ds, Vrains, Sevens, Go Rush. The latest one that I know of as of right now is Go Rush, and I don't think there has ever been another Yu-Gi-Oh anime since then. I don't know if there. I still don't even know if there's ever going to be another one. If there is ever going to be another one, but you know what? I'm gonna say, let's just enjoy what we have. You know what? I just say let's just enjoy what we've got. Because despite all the egregious edits that 4Kids made, for the first like 3.5 series, well, I'd say 3.5. Yeah, it's on GX right now, and they're showing exactly what I just showed in that eBay listing. What the cards in the anime look like. So, what the cards look like in the show. And how it's completely different from the actual card game. With all the text and whatnot, so. So yeah, that was another obstacle that they had to tackle when they were editing this, because when they were editing Yu-Gi-Oh, the only way it could be seen was on broadcast television. Well, that was all except for GX and the other series that came after it, because the original Yu-Gi-Oh aired on Kids WB, which was on broadcast television, and if I remember correctly, you got new episodes on Saturday mornings, and then reruns during the week. Or did new episodes come out during the week as well? I can't remember, but all I know is what shows aired on the block on which days, and then GX aired on Cartoon Network. So, yeah, by 2006, 2005 actually, was when the original Yu-Gi-Oh finished, when it reached the final duel. And then after that, that was the end of it. They kept reruns going for a year, and then by the time the WB and UPN merged together to form the CW, that's when Kids WB dropped both Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, both of their anime hits that pretty much put them on the map, and when kids kept coming back for more. Now, I kind of feel it was a pretty dumb. Well, now that I think about it, I think it was a pretty dumb move to, get rid of Yu-Gi-Oh, the original Yu-Gi-Oh, because that's something kids enjoy, but at that time, the original Yu-Gi-Oh series had finished. The whole series was complete. There weren't going to be any more new episodes of it. So after the final duel arc, that was it. There wasn't going to be another Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters episode after that. So pretty much then, for the rest of its time, it was just nothing but reruns. And then GX went on to Cartoon Network, and then eventually when the Kids WB block was sold to 4Kids Entertainment in 2008, or was it late 2007 or early 2008, if I remember, one of those times, that was when the CW sold the slot for Kids WB to 4Kids Entertainment, and then they eventually started bringing over their programming, and eventually a lot of new ones. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was only on there for a brief time, as all the episodes had aired on Cartoon Network, so then reruns of it were airing on, at the time, CW 4Kids. Then 5Ds premiered, that carried over to Toonzai. Then Zexal premiered after 5Ds concluded. Well, the series here in the US, the English dub of both, really, 5Ds and GX. 4Kids, for some reason, never did the final season of both of those, of both of the series. They never did the final season of both of them. And Woodbine's back online, so good to hear that those other webcams are coming back after being off for so long. But getting back to the story, yeah, 4Kids Entertainment was probably just in a rush. They probably were just in a rush. They were just in a rush, so they skipped the final season of GX. So pretty much now the only way you could see GX in its full form is to just watch the original version of the final season of it. Now, let me see if I remember correctly. There were like what, 3 seasons of GX, and I think there was a 4th. The 4th never came to the United States, and there were 3 seasons of 5Ds. Only 2 of them were also released here in the States as English dubs. The 3rd season of 5Ds and the 4th season of GX, respectively, those could only be seen in Japan. And then halfway through the first season of Zexal was done by 4Kids, and then eventually, midway through that season. But yeah, here's I'll let you gaze at this Optiplex here, and we'll get to the scavenger hunt here in a minute. But then it was around the time that a little bit after Zexal premiered, when 4Kids Entertainment got into that lawsuit by the creators of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then eventually they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, and then all their assets were sold off. Konami got Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, they got the rights to Yu-Gi-Oh! As a TV show. They had already done the rights to the card game, so yeah, they had the rights to... Now they have the rights to everything Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game, the PC, the video games, the card game, the trading card game, and of course the anime. So the entire franchise. So everything. Duel Monsters, GX, 5D, Zexal, and everything else that came after it. So then, of course, Konami took over under their 4K Media division, and now it is that has been doing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise ever since. So, of course, that franchise took over and and what's pretty nice was that after Konami took over, they did the English dub, the entirety of the rest of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series in English. So, it's such a shame that we will never get to see the rest of GX in English or the rest of 5Ds in English in its original form, but even just thinking about it now, and as I've talked about already, it is pretty crazy to me that this is what I could have, that Yu-Gi-Oh! Was what I could have experienced back in the day. Because, as I was saying earlier, at the time, well, 5Ds was sort of new, but not really. Well, they were still doing new episodes of the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D story. So by the time 5Ds was halfway through its run, let's say 2011, well, by the time 2012 came around, I was, 8 years old at that time? Yeah, I was 8 in 2012, so I pretty much would have fit the demographic I pretty much would have been fit enough to enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! The way it was meant to be enjoyed. But although I was born while the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series was still on, if I remember at the time it was on the Waking the Dragons arc or at the tail end of Enter the Shadow Realm, as far as I remember. Well, I could be wrong. But nowadays, now that I think about it, I am especially disappointed that I never got to see Yu-Gi-Oh! When it was on broadcast television. But it was me. I had other things, but now here I am at 21, So now here I am at 21, 20 years after Yu-Gi-Oh was pulled off of broadcast television the first time. Well, when it was pulled off of Kids WB. Well, actually, it didn't happen until September. It didn't happen until mid-September when the fall lineup started on the CW. So it was actually that one time in September. That was the last time Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh would be on Kids WB. So I would not have been able to see it. So I would not have been able to see Yu-Gi-Oh, but I actually would have been able to see it too, because around the 2012, like I said, the original Yu-Gi-Oh was still on broadcast television, so I could have seen both Yu-Gi-Oh and Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. I would have been able to see both series, but as I just said, I never got a chance. But hey, at least Pluto TV has Yu-Gi-Oh up to Vrains, as far as I know. They have all the series of Yu-Gi-Oh up to Vrains. Sevens and Go Rush are on Disney's end, as far as I know. But even if I were into Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, I would have been only able to see only able to see like 2 seasons, because then Vortex's fate was sealed when Alright. Now, where was I? So, if I had been into Yu-Gi-Oh, I would have only been able to see the first 2 seasons of Zexal, as by the time season 2 concluded here in the States, the CW was getting ready to axe Vortex and instead prepare Litton Entertainment to program this wildlife block. Such a shame what the Saturday morning market has become. We went from all these cartoons that kids would enjoy to now these wildlife programs that people don't even care about. Even myself. Yeah, that's definitely definitely not pleasant at all. But there was a big reason why. It was because pretty much the whole Saturday morning on broadcast television format was obsolete. That's why Kids WB was canceled. That's why CW4 Kids had well, I guess it had decent ratings, but it wasn't good enough. And then that's why Vortex had low ratings too, within only like 2 years. So pretty much then the third and final season of Zexal moved over to Hulu. And I think I remember seeing somewhere that I think the third season of it maybe also aired on Nicktoons, as far as I remember. And that was also the place where Arc 5 and Vrains aired before Disney got got the broadcast rights to air Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I heard Pokemon was on Cartoon Network for 11 years after it left Kids WB. So it was on Cartoon Network until 2017. Then it went to Disney XD, and now it's on Netflix. I don't know about Yu-Gi-Oh! If there is another Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime in the works, then maybe I'll see it. Maybe I'll watch it. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a watch. I don't know. I don't know if I will, but it'll depend. But anyway, let's continue on. So let's continue on here. What do we have here? We have this 7020 Micro. So now let's get to looking at these Optiplex models. Because I was talking about earlier what I plan on doing with that Dell XPS after the consumer ESU program ends in October. Of whether I'm going to get rid of it or put IoT Enterprise or put IoT Enterprise onto it. So I'll think about it. So what do we got? We got an Optiplex 7060. That's a micro right here. This model is oh hey, look, it's a 3060. It's the one I already have. I'm the proud owner of a 3060 Micro. And I couldn't be more proud on how reliable I've made it. Here's this Lenovo ThinkCentre. It's only a 7th gen Intel. But I see there's an HDMI. Oh no, that's DisplayPort. There's just nothing but DisplayPort all around. Wow. Okay. This says Lenovo 2016. I don't see a 7th gen label anywhere. Probably a 6th generation. This looks like a set of 3060 micros. So it looks like this is a set of them. I can tell. So it looks like there's a lot. But it looks like they all have the same specs. Now, this was the specs that the micro I had originally had. 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. But of course, I upgraded it to 32 gigabytes and 1 terabyte of storage. Well, on the internal SSD. And then put another 2 terabyte mechanical hard drive in there. So now it has a whopping 3 terabytes of storage. And boy, am I enjoying it. Then we have this old 7050 Micro. Here's the 9020 Micro. Oh yeah, and you know what? One more time, because why not? Here's what we were playing around with earlier in part 1. We were slowing down Phenomena 2. And also I might want to get the Windows 7 virtual machine ready. I don't know if Brendan's available tonight, but I'll keep a close eye. And then we have the 7090 with the disk drive, Core i7 vPro. So that's what the disk drive looks like. 2 8GB sticks. There's a 2280 SSD. I remember you could put another hard drive inside of one of these. No, I think you can only put one SSD. So yeah, 3200, that's DDR4. Here's a set of 3050 micros. But it says they have 8th gen processors on them. But I can tell that that is absolutely incorrect. These are 7th gens. I can tell these are 7th generations. Page 2. That's a pretty outrageous price for a micro. Is this the cost of this when it was brand new? But regardless, no. This one is no processor or RAM or hard drive. This one does not have a hard drive in it. There's a 5090 micro. See, this one's reasonable for the price. This one's reasonable. Here's what it looks like on the side. Actually, no, I don't want that running for a while. And this one has a VGA module already installed, so see, this one also has a VGA module installed. And of course, it has Wi-Fi too. And then we have an Optiplex 5080 micro, HDMI optional adapter, because there's 2 display ports. There's only 2 display ports on this model. There's no HDMI option. Yeah, there's no HDMI option. I think that's why the 3000 series has HDMI as well. And I can see there's some damage in shipping on the cover. Again, it's a used item, so what do you expect? And then what else do we have? A 390, that's an old one. 720, that's an old one. Here's the 3080. This one's reasonably priced. Some scuffing on it, but doesn't affect the performance of it otherwise. Hinckley, Illinois. Huh. And we can scroll down here and we can get the complete listing. So this is the complete, that's the complete list of specs for the item. See, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage, USDT. No, I'd say it's more like a micro form factor. But it's what, well, ultra small DT. But yeah, 10th gen, 16 gigs, Windows 11 Pro. Has Wi-Fi already. There's the. Now, where's the little antenna piece that's supposed to connect to that thing. That's supposed to go into that to, give it better, give it better reception. I wonder. Here's another 3050. Here's another 7010 micro. This is the one that my father's school has now. As I said earlier, his school got 2 of these refurbished. I see Northeast Illinois is still catching up on stuff from last week. So this one has V Pro. I don't remember. Do the ones they have now the ones they got have V Pro on them? I don't know if they have V Pro. They probably don't. And it doesn't look like this one has Wi-Fi either. And I think I remember reading you could put 2 SSDs in here? Or on this one you can only put 1. Yeah, there's 1 SSD Wi-Fi card, and this is where you could put another 2.5-inch hard drive if you so desire. I think it was a different micro, but I might be wrong. Here's that 7090 again. So, well, of course, we can take a look at Dell's official documentation for each of these computers, and we can see what these have. So, micro 7010, I think a 7010 Plus that has the option to add another hard drive. So there's some guides for IoT, Windows 10 IoT Enterprise 2021, and then these are guides for 11's IoT Enterprise Edition. ThinOS, then some release notes for IoT Enterprise. Setup and specifications. It's actually going to be under the external puck antenna owner's manual. And yeah, this is a newer one. This is what's going to contain the specs. If we look at storage, so the Micro Plus allows you to do 2 M.2 drives. It doesn't give you it does not offer the option for a 2.5-inch drive. Now, if we change this, it says 10 IoT Enterprise and 11 IoT Enterprise are only supported on this model and the 7020. So we're going to change it now to the standard 7010. And again, there's the same disclaimer here that it's only supported on the Plus models. It's not supported. And then this is their page about compatibility. And then it reads that this article does not apply. Are officially supported only on the following. But then it says deploying IoT Enterprise on unsupported platforms. Well, that's because Dell provides the drivers for these platforms. But I mean, it is entirely possible to put IoT Enterprise on, a 5th generation and whatnot. But let's go back to this. Again, the owner's manual. And we can go to specifications, storage. So yeah, I can see the differences straight away between the 7010 micro and the 7010 Plus. The standard 7010 has the option for a 2.5-inch drive, while the Plus does not give you the option, but it does, however, give you the option of a second M.2 SSD if you so choose. So I mean, that could be, a much more modern iteration. So I could have a 1 terabyte to store the operating system and other things on the drive, and then another 2 terabyte drive, or maybe I can upgrade to maybe 3 or 4 terabytes, and then of course I can add anything else if I so choose. Tower only. That is not. That's a 7070. It's tower only, and I can clearly tell there is no motherboard. There's absolutely nothing inside of it. So it's actually just the case. There's no motherboard. Nothing. There's no motherboard and related components inside of there. So 7000 micro, 12th gen. Let's go to the next page. Yeah, it's been about 5 minutes. Brendan still has the offline status. So at this point, at this point, then the time slot has already passed. So no deal or no deal tonight. I know we're long overdue for another one, but I know Brendan has a busy life, and of course a lot of us do. All right, now we have this 3080 small form factor PC, which does have the HDMI. Well, it has HDMI, DisplayPort, and VGA. So that's what I did with my 3060 small form factor. I took the VGA optional slot module and installed that in the micro. And it's a good thing I did, because it works with that HP CRT monitor, so that's good. I can just take the micro and connect up that old ancient HP monitor to it, and that's good. I'll still have a working PC. Or I could just do remote desktop. I could set up a remote desktop with it, but it's going to be honestly difficult to even try to accomplish. But here's a 5080. So there's what it looks like on the front. Core i7, 10th generation. I believe this is exactly the processor that's inside of those HP Z2 workstations. That could be another PC I could get my hands on, but trying to get Wi-Fi installed in it, yeah, probably not going to happen. 7010 micro again at 1.8 gigahertz. Yeah, not fun. Yeah, there's no. I believe this is the exact model, maybe, but I'll have to check again, because it's been a while since I last checked. So maybe at some point I'll have to check and see. Oh, here's a Dell XPS. With a 8th Gen i7. Now, I believe you could put an SSD in here. Can't remember. Manufacture date 2017. So, what else have we got? Yeah, this is what the inside of it looks like. This is the motherboard. Let's see, we got RAM slots, hard drive. Is that to the hard drive or is that to the graphics card? Yeah, this is the graphics card. But looking at the motherboard closely, I don't see a slot for an M.2 SSD anywhere. Well, that's the thing. SSDs weren't as much of a standard as they are today. Hence why that is the case. Ooh, more Yu-Gi-Oh packs. Retro Pack 2. More of the retro packs. Oh, this is great. Now I'm going to be seeing more and more of these coming up on my recommended. Creature swap. A collection of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I skipped over this part at the end. $19 to completion. Alright, continuing on here. Yeah, this was from the 15th, and this was the rewarning. Yeah. Okay. But enough of that. Let's go back to the computers. What do we have next? A 7070 Micro with a 9th Gen. Oh, the 9th Gen i5 processor. 7010. This is the small form factor variant of it. And this one's i3. So slightly below on the Intel scale. And it looks like this is a slot where a graphics card would have gone. I guess they had one in there, they took it out. And then we have this 3080 tower. Wow. That's pretty neat. Ooh, I don't know if I want to take... well, as I said, we'll just wait and see what happens this year when it comes to taking one of the... when it comes to what kind of PCs they're going to get rid of this time around. Let's see. Then we have this 3090 Micro. But I was actually thinking about getting up sooner considering how many shows that I have to see, so I'll try and start it for 8:30. So maybe we'll see if this maybe this maybe we'll see how this strategy plays out. I don't know if 8:30 is a good idea. Let's try 8:45 instead. Yeah, because I just want to get up and start Wheel of Fortune's tapings and then get to the shows. Here's a 7440 small all-in-one 6th gen. And then there's the manufacture date right here of this unit. Was March 8th, 2017. And then we have a 3090 small form factor. Or 7090, it looks like. Yeah, 7090. There's the power cord. It only shows the front and the back of it. It doesn't show the inside. But there is a 512 gig SSD in here, 16 gigabytes of RAM. And then what do we have here? A 3090. Ah, crap, I forgot to close it, but whatever. All right, and then we have this 3070 micro.
I missed it. I missed it again, didn't I?
You missed the Tom Ben Chaos. That's what you missed.
Ah, man. That sucks.
Yep, but well, he's just in time because we're going to be starting Yahtzee here in a few minutes. We're just finishing up the eBay scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's just a little sample of what I put Tom Ben and Ginger the cat through. Yeah, the macrons from that one time. How about the 1/4 fraction? Oh, this is great. Alright, let's...
There again. That's not good.
That's great. Alright, let's go ahead and...
We almost had to reconnect. That sucks. What in the world is going on with Elemental X?
Alright, here's a weird Optiplex model, 5055. These have AMD Ryzen Pros in them.
That sounds like a freaking AI CPU.
No, these Optiplexes are older.
Oh yeah.
These are older Optiplexes. They're not the more recent ones. And then we have an Optiplex 5.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then we have this Optiplex 5000 small form factor with the i7 vPro sticker. What is this? vPro Essentials. I've never heard of vPro Essentials before. I've heard of just vPro, but not the Essentials line. And then what do we got here? Both of the optional ports are unused. 2 display ports. No VGA. No HDMI. What a shame. Yeah, what a shame. No HDMI. And there's the Windows 11. That's the Windows 11 sticker.
Yeah.
To know that thing came with 11. Here's another 7010 micro PC. This is the one that only comes with one NVMe SSD and the option to put another 2.5-inch hard drive if you wish.
Mm-hmm.
Wi-Fi and Bluetooth also included. And hey, they didn't even need to put that long. They didn't even need to put an antenna through the back of the device.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's good. And then underneath the miniature CPU fan or whatever, that's where the RAM is.
Yeah. And
there's the power cord that's included. BIOS information. 4.6 gigahertz max speed. So that's the max speed it can go. And then the 3050 small form factor 7090. That's a micro PC. And then what do we have? Another 3090 small form factor tower desktop. I see only 2 USB ports, but then the other 2 are covered up on the bottom. Haven't seen a configuration like this yet, but or maybe I have, but just not on the air yet.
Yeah.
And then we have a Optiplex 7050. Is that a tower or is that an all-in-one? It's a tower PC. 7th gen Intel. All right, now let's go to the next page where we see a 3070 micro. It looks like there's a set of 3. So there's the 2.5-inch drive. There's an SSD under there. In fact, this one actually has both the NVMe and 2.5-inch hard drive slots used. A 256 gig NVMe for the operating system and another 500 gigabyte hard drive to store data. And also has 4 gigs of RAM included. So, and then this is Crystal Disk Info showing the health of both drives. Oh yeah, this thing having Windows 11 on it, it's not gonna. It is not gonna be good at all with 4 gigabytes. I mean, I find it best when it runs on 8 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, that's what I've heard people say. It's best, 8 gigabytes or more of RAM. So, even trying to run it on something like that Latitude 3190 that I've had my eyes on for quite some time, yeah, I'm not chancing it. I'm not going to try to run Windows 11 on that on such a low spec machine. Not even a 2 gigahertz Pentium will be enough. Not at all. Let's continue on here. Oh, here's an old 3020 micro PC. Yeah, that's a pretty old design. 4th gen i5, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and somebody even had the audacity to put Windows 11 on it despite it going against the requirements. All right. So let's see. In the last minutes here before we transition to Yahtzee, why don't we venture into the precisions now? Well, not the precision towers. The compact have actually been on my mind. Yes, the Precision Compact. So this one's a 3240 compact, and this one does have a Wi-Fi antenna on it already. And of course, on the back, yep. So I could connect it to a wireless network, but I'd only be dealing with an i3 processor instead of like an i5, but I prefer i5 or an i7 because more cores to work with and whatnot. And it looks like there is a slot for a 2.5-inch drive and 2 NVMe SSDs, if I remember from when I was reading Dell's website. Here's another 3240. Another 3240 compact. And this one comes with its power supply. So it shows i5 10th generation, Windows 11 Pro, 512 gigabyte hard drive, dual monitor capable, USB 3, USB-C. While the Wi-Fi is not included in the PC out of the box, there is actually a USB. There's a little USB thing that's actually included to give it Wi-Fi. And then there's even a DVI graphics card in the back. That of which I definitely will not be including. Well, I don't want a PC with a graphics card. I'm fine with the integrated graphics, but if I do want a graphics card, I would request it right then and there. And looks like on this 3431, the second L in the Dell logo has come off. So now it's just Dell as in the delete key, as in the first 3 letters of the delete key. And let's see, this 3260 Precision Compact had actually just went up. This one's a new listing. And I see this one has also includes I believe there's an optional DVD thing included, or is it just the cover? Or was it just the cover removed? I'm not sure, doesn't look like it. But I think we can just scroll down here and we can see everything. Yeah, there's everything here. So the computer, the power adapter, no Wi-Fi on this one, on this model. So I guess just like all the other Office PCs I've looked at, the Wi-Fi, you would have to request that separately. All right, so I think we can take a look at maybe like 1 or 2 more here before we move on to our last game of the night. So now we have this 3240 compact with an actual look on the inside. But again, looking at the back, I don't see any trace of Wi-Fi anywhere on this machine. So there's 2 display ports there, HDMI optional, Ethernet,
4 USB ports, 3.0 ports to be exact. And then of course this is what it states down here. It's all the specifications. And then it looks like this compact has this precision compact, and this will be the last one we'll look at here. This one's actually this one was actually acquired from a lot of 6, and this one is the i5 10th generation. And on the back, there is Wi-Fi included, judging by the 2 antenna slots there. Going down the list here, this gives everything. So there's the computer, it's in good condition. And of course, all systems are of course verified to ensure that there aren't any CompuTrace isn't present, the BIOS is not locked, or any Intune enrollments in any of it. So yeah, Wi-Fi is included. Yeah, so they of course tested it out to make sure that the PC still works. So on this model, Wi-Fi is included, but not the power cord. You'd have to find the power cord separately. Of course, this is not a laptop. It doesn't run on batteries, so. And then we have a 3440, and this will actually be the last one. i3 10th gen, has 11 Pro. That's what it looks like on the back. With the PS2 mouse and keyboard, which you barely see anymore. 2 display ports. That's the signal that it came with Windows 10. And looks like there's 2 PCIe cards. There's one for a second Ethernet port, and then mini display ports. And then this is what it looks like loaded in Windows. There's only one hard drive here. It's a 500 gigabyte. And shows showing disk information. All right, so with that is all we're going to look at here for the eBay scavenger hunt. As now we are going to go ahead and transition to our final game here of the night before we wrap things up, and that of course is Yahtzee. We'll play 2 rounds of that as we always do. So we'll move over to keyboard. And we'll go ahead and play the regular mode as we usually do. Oh yeah, still have the speaker turned down. And then let's see. Oh, these sound like great talking news clips. What it even was anymore.
Menu items rotated in and out like a confused dinner plate. Menu items.
Yeah, it was just some terminology, just that terminology from that video I found of the decline of Boston Market. Yeah, the decline of Boston Market and how terrible it had been doing ever since. And I also found a video in my recommended of the history of Dominick's. It was a Chicagoland grocery chain that has been long gone. That I've been always wondering what had happened to it, but a video from Chicagoland history that I saw show up in my recommended, that might actually give me the answer to what happened with Dominick's and what actually ended up happening with it. Now that I'll probably watch while we're on air on Sunday for our Minecraft show as we We usually do.
See how bad it got.
So yeah, we already did the
Oh my gosh.
we did the full house already.
Whoops, whoops,
And
whoops.
see Portillo's
It was not supposed to happen. Sorry.
See.
I hate when that swiping happens that just ends the call. It's so stupid.
Well, yeah, on his end, but
Yeah, well, whatever.
so let's see. Slim Chicken is still present on the Google Maps Street View
Well,
imagery. But I'm personally glad I got to try out Zaxby's, and earlier an ad for it came up in my YouTube recommended on my YouTube homepage. It came up on that section. It was actually good, but yeah, it actually was good. So maybe we'll come back. We'll come back sometime soon, and we'll give it another try. But yeah, Slim Chickens is still on the Street View imagery. Hasn't been updated to display Zaxby's yet. Yeah, it has. Yeah, the imagery has not been updated to show Zaxby's as of this current moment. But let's see what else we can find. Wendy's. Now, I was actually thinking. I've actually been thinking about giving Wendy's a try. You know, giving Wendy's a try, seeing what it would taste like and whatnot. But I don't know if I'm gonna. Well, I'm hoping to get that opportunity sometime later on. Yeah, later on down the line. So yeah, there's it's the Wendy's there. And then zooming out on Apple Maps, then that's where Zaxby's shows up. Yeah, then this is where Zaxby's shows up on the map. Yeah, so then this is where Zaxby's appears on the map. Now, going to latest, let's see. The latest imagery includes a salad. This looks like a shake. This is one of the chicken wing deals featuring fries, some chicken fingers, and Texas toast.
Texas toast.
Yep, they had Texas toast. This is what looks like a catering bundle. It's called the Zax Packs. Zax Packs. Yes, some chicken fingers. Of course.
Chicken fingers, chicken fries.
Well,
So
they have French fries, the crinkle cut fries to be more exact.
Yeah.
And that's actually what I got with when I was there. So looking at let's see, looking at the menu. Yeah, the oldest picture I see dates back to January 2026. So I was actually a little wrong on the exact month when Zaxby's opened here in Chicagoland. It looks like it opened in January 2026, judging by the picture. So yeah, looking at the menu, yeah, I got the grilled chicken sandwich, and of course made it a meal by upgrading it, the fries and the drink both to large. And yeah, you bet I was absolutely stuffed after that. So next time I'm just gonna stick with the small fry and a medium drink. I'd probably get the grilled chicken sandwich again, but I'm just gonna stick with everything else almost as it is. So yeah, then there's some videos of the place. Then I can change to all. Let's see, the veggie rolls, and then there was the picture of the soda machine that looks exactly like the picture I took when I was there. You know, showing what the soda machine actually carried. And I actually have that photo on the desktop. I probably might want to move all this stuff over, considering I played around with all these. But yeah, I was surprised to find that this Zaxby's has both the Hi-C Flesh and Fruit Punch and Orange Lava Burst. The Orange Lava Burst flavor I have not had in a long time, so I thought I'd give that a go. And then I ended up, so maybe the next time I visit, I'll probably get Lava Burst again. Or if I end up somewhere else and I get the fruit punch, I'll just get the fruit punch there, and then wherever else I end up, and then wherever else I end up, and then when I come back to Zaxby's, then I'll just get the Lava Burst again. That and McDonald's are the only two chains I know of that carry the Orange Lava Burst flavor, and that flavor either on its own or alongside another Hi-C flavor or a set of flavors. But yeah, I otherwise enjoyed my meal from Zaxby's, and of course I look forward to going back again in the future. So that's another great chain we can add to our list of favorites. Well, let's see, there's the 119th Street, which we did a Street View video on recently. I remember from when we did the episode that they were building something new here. Can't remember if it was a Pete's or a... Oh, it was actually a Woodman's. But it doesn't look like the imagery is present. Or maybe that might have been on a different... Or that might have been on a different section. But 119th, that's what I believe it is. I'll have to check the Street View episode again. Yeah. I'm gonna check that episode right now. Just to be 100% sure. So I'm gonna take a look at that now. Here we go, 119th. Or that might have been a different stretch. Let's see. No, it didn't look like it was going up in that stretch. There wasn't anything going up in that stretch. Then it probably was somewhere else down the road. Or I might have been totally... Yeah, I'm probably totally wrong on that, because I remember seeing in one of the episodes that we made that a Woodman's was going up. But I couldn't quite remember exactly where it was going to go up. But yeah, all I see are the townhouses and nothing more. Well, that's really all I could spot. So that's really Kendall Elementary School. And there's two separate playgrounds. There's a smaller but what looks to be more modern one. And I can even look at what it looked like back in 2012. Yeah, quite small. Quite a small facility for what it is. Yeah, quite small for what it is. Then there's the larger playground over there. And then there's the Zuka Sushi place that took over Choo Choo Johnny's after they closed. And yeah, then it's been a little bit since I found out about the Jedi's building being demolished. The first time I checked the Jedi's listing on Google Maps, it said that the place was temporarily closed, but now it's been updated to say permanently closed. So yep, Jedi's Restaurant and Grill is permanently closed. And yeah, looking at the reviews, I can totally see why. This isn't good food. Yeah. You know, we kind of stopped visiting Jedi's after finding out that the food quality had degraded. I mean, their food quality had actually degraded since the last time. Well, compared to all the other times I've been there. All right, so that is that with Yahtzee. So now, let's go back on, let's go over here now, and we'll see what the, let's see, CXP got the 6 p.m. evening test. And then this warning from Cleveland on KDO 94. And what's this one? RWT on WXQC.
Alright, Joseph, when I'm gonna get going. I'll see ya.
Alright. Yeah, and we're gonna get going soon. We're gonna get going soon here anyway, so. Yeah, and we're gonna get going soon anyway. So it looks like this is the max weather test that he got. Oh, that's his custom. That's his custom thing that he's set up. We could have done that instead. But, oh well. Oh well. And then this was the Cleveland Weekly. There's another local area emergency.
A shelter in place remains in effect within 1 mile of the Catalyst Refiners and Institute, including West Virginia State.
That was the fourth one. The fifth one was the cancellation. Yeah, and then there was all the severe weather bulletins from earlier.
Eastern North Dakota, northeastern Nelson.
This was the warnings from Grand Forks from earlier. CXP got Miami and Tampa's test. So yeah, Miami went right at 11. And then Tampa followed suit not too long after. I see Tetris fan got the Mount Holly test. Oh yeah, and it was Earth Day today, by the way. It's raining with the sun out. Yep, and that is definitely not a effect on the camera anywhere. And then this was his weekly test stream that he ran for, and I think I see why he started it earlier. I don't know. There was like something else he had going on in the morning, so I suppose he didn't want to miss it. So I see. Dylan Frentwell, that's your thunderstorm warning from April 16th. And then I know Kiowa County has been following up on this local area emergency the whole time.
8%. Lows in the mid-50s. Storms. High west of the West Virginia County. A shelter in place for all areas around the Catalyst Refiners Facility and Institute has been lifted.
So that was the only local area emergency that when I had WXJ 84 on there on my station, it received it. And then this is the Cleveland weekly test. This is Parker. Oh yeah, and there's my video from earlier.
From the National Weather Service.
Yeah, for those of you who
Weather Service warning alarm tone.
yeah, for those of you who might have missed it, missed part 1, Chicago ended up doing a marine warning right when their weekly test was being sent out. So as Lockport, Chicago, and Crystal Lake were doing the marine warning, Plano and all the other transmitters received the weekly test, and then it was only then after Lockport finished relaying the marine warning, as well as those other 2 stations, that they then ended up doing the weekly test. And then this was the last of the marine warnings from Northern Indiana from earlier this morning. And then what is this? Yoshi Fan weekly test from today. You got the Albany test.
There we go.
He turned the alert works off. He put them on display. Yeah, it's not that exciting when they're on display, honestly. I see Piedmont region actually ended up getting KC 85 Savannah all the way from Gaston County, North Carolina. To me, it's almost like the reverse of when I got WXL 56 Asheville all the way from Charleston, South Carolina. Let's see. I think that's it. Let me just check the other one final time. All right. So there we go. I've acknowledged all of that. But actually, there is one final thing I would like to get taken care of before we go, and that is to update the documentation for tonight. So I see KPCC ran their weekly, so I'm gonna go and remove that. Did it say alert expired? No, it didn't. Okay. Is there anything else, or is that it? Let's see, for Ohio, filters ignore. There's Max Weather's test. So we're gonna try Weather Radio. Yeah. Oh, there's the hill. So we're gonna try Weather Radio Quebec, for next week. So we're gonna try Weather Radio Quebec next week. So. Oh yeah, we're gonna try that out and see what we get. All right, and then I'm gonna pull up the Thursday document, and I can just go to show all, and then I just gotta look for it in the list. There it is, Thursday. Here we go, and of course we're gonna add up to. Now, I can't remember. Did oh, that's right. All the stations I have in there do stream alerts, but the other ones do not. Okay. All right. I'll make sure to keep this on. I'm going to leave the remote connection up on screen. Well, on my other micro PC, so that way I can change out the monitors when the time comes. Okay. And with that, we are done then. We're done then tonight, folks. So, of course, before we get going, Tom and Ben, I of course want to thank you both for letting me be your company, or having you rather, on the show this week, as always. And of course, I look forward to having these two back again next week when we do this again. So again, as I said, after we go off the air, I'm going to import the clips from Tom and Ben to the computer. And I think there was one that I was going to trim down, as I'm transporting it over. I can't remember exactly which one it was. Oh, actually, I have an idea as to which one it actually might be. So, yeah, so I'm thinking about it now. All right, so before we go, one last look then at the schedule for this for the rest of this week and going into next week, and actually some new developments too, and it has to do with server class, and this will actually go into next week. So, first off, let's start with tomorrow. So we got the floor taken care of tonight. Now, as I said, there's still a whole lot of other shows I got to take care of. America Says, Flipside, Perfect Line, and the finales of both The Greatest Average American and Hollywood Squares. So I will be taking care of both of those tomorrow morning, first thing. Now, I'm going to try to get up a little earlier, just so I can allow myself enough time to get caught up on those shows. And then sometime after my lunch break, then I can get started with more work of the Travel Series remake. Because as we were talking about earlier, there's still a few more bits and pieces we have to put together of this project before it is totally done. So tomorrow I'm going to work with the interchange at Interstate 167 and 132, and then 256 and 232, as well as building the 3 bridges that go across those sides, and then renumber the exits on both 132 and 232, a process of which that will continue on another device. So those I'm looking to take care of tomorrow. And so basically a lot of the time is going to be taken, just to catch up on the shows, but I'm going to get up a little earlier just to allow myself enough time to take care of all those. And then, of course, what? And then, so tomorrow I'll catch up on the shows, then I'll do that Minecraft work. And then, of course, I'll continue to work on another device while we take care of our backyard baseball game, which, by the way, tomorrow will be the last time we will be doing backyard baseball at 3 p.m. Because next week, backyard baseball goes back to its original time slot of 5 p.m. But not quite what you think about 5 p.m. Because there's America Says that starts at 5. So maybe we'll probably start it at like 4:45. So we'll try to start the game, just before America Says starts. But regardless, around approximately 5 p.m., that's going to be when backyard baseball will start next week. But tomorrow will be at 3 p.m. That will be the last time that we'll have to start around that time. Of course, I'll continue the construction project while that's going. And then after my evening class tomorrow night, then then of course I'll come back here and we'll take care of both Scrabble and Trivial Pursuit on the CW. And then after those two are done,
along with the Perfect Line. I think it's the only one that's brand new, if I remember. I also see Scrambled Up is all new on Friday as well. So it's probably going to be Flipside and Scrambled Up I'll be taking care of on Friday. I'll probably start by taking care of one in the morning, and then I'll be spending Friday building those power line towers. And after that, then that's the. And then after that, that's the. And then after that, then after that, then that's pretty much it. So let's see. Yeah, there's three things. There's three things, and then one final discussion question. So. Okay. All right. So then for Saturday, while we are going to be doing our weekend fun game show as we normally do, I did find out we'll be going out for dinner afterwards. Well, during the show, we'll be going out for a dinner, so probably like in the middle of it, in the midway point or so. And then Sunday, that will be our next Minecraft show, and that will be where we finish up, where we actually put the finishing touches on this project. Which at that point then we'll be building the interchanges with Interstate 167 and 67, and then 256 and 56 on its new alignment. And then after that is all done, then we just got to pave both sides, put up the signs, and then that's it. Then this interchange, construction, extravaganza, whatever, will be all totally finished. And then we will be ready to start the Minecraft Trial Series production. Depending on how much time remains afterward, I'm actually going to get started on the project for one of my classes. In fact, I found out that next week, the Linux domain part is actually going to be covered. So that's actually like the last thing. So now that I know about this, what I'm thinking is I'll just do the Windows stuff. I'll do the Windows stuff first, and then once I get the stuff for, and then once I get the information for the Linux portion, I will do the Linux portion and then finish that lab up. And then after I get the Travel Series remake finished up and, you know, whatnot, I'm going to actually keep those virtual machines for a little bit because I actually want to test out those new, that more condensed archive.org copy of the Yu-Gi-Oh game that we usually do, that we have. And also, was there something else I wanted to test? Was there something else I wanted to test on that? I cannot remember if there was anything else I wanted to test on that. Yeah, I can't remember, but I know today was like all about setting up a web server and whatnot, so. So, yeah, that's so that's where we're looking at. And then probably after I get the Trial Series remake finished, or probably on that Wednesday, no, not that Wednesday night, because we'll be doing the floor. So I'm probably thinking that maybe on that Monday night, before I continue with the Minecraft Trial Series production, that's probably going to be when I'll work on that Linux portion of the final project. So But of course, all of it next week I'll work on the Travel Series remake and kind of request episode. And I'll try to get through everything as fast as I can, before finals week, kicks off and whatnot. Because then I got to curtail editing for some time to get the finals taken care of. Oh yeah, and plus all the other shows they got to make up too. But they're actually, I don't think it's going to be too much because The Greatest Average American is going to be done. It is done now. It's done. It's over. And Hollywood Squares is also done with its second season on CBS, but will be renewed for a third season. We'll find out. As Greatest Average American gets renewed for a second season, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be very surprised because I'm pretty sure that it did not do very well. So we'll see. We'll see how things play out. So yeah, we'll see how things play out. And so yeah, that's what the schedule for the rest of this week and next week looks like. Like as I said, I'll get up earlier so I can allow myself enough time to catch up on those shows. And of course, once again, and the biggest and most important thing of all before we go is to thank each and every one of our special guests who have joined us throughout the show today. I'm just checking the new program showcase list, making sure it's all set. So there we go, it's all set to go. So again, thanks to all of our special guests who joined us today. Brian Slip was with us. Andrew Barrow. I think those were the only two that were with us today. I don't remember if I don't think Dimitri came on. So it was just those two. But hey, at least some people is better than no people at all. So quite nice, I suppose. But with whatever happened with Northern Utah yesterday on my server, I'm glad he got that situation taken care of. So I guess he was aware of it happening when it was happening yesterday morning. So I'm glad he got that taken care of. He got that resolved and whatnot. So just hoping it doesn't happen again. But I was confused when I saw all those messages come up, on that morning. That's why my Tuesday yesterday was pretty rough, but I'm glad that's over. I'm glad that's over with, and hopefully Thursday will be better. Well, my Thursday tomorrow actually will be better, I hope. So, yeah, so again, that's what the week has in store, and yeah. That is going to be it then, folks, for us here tonight. So again, thanks to all our special guests who joined us today. We really appreciate it. And we hope to see you all again tomorrow at 3 p.m. And yes, this will be the last week at 3 p.m. where we'll be doing our backyard baseball game. And so yeah, our backyard baseball game at 3 p.m. tomorrow. We hope you will join us for that. But until then, I'm Mr. Planfald, and we wish all of you a very pleasant good night.